In the heart of the Deep South, a community thrives. Theirs is not just a story of survival, it's a story of strength, of love, and of joy. These are the voices of those who have dared to navigate their trans journey in a world that often seeks to erase their existence.
Being.
Being.
This is their
Being.
legacy. This is their truth. This is being Southern Tea. Journey begins with the echoes of the past, where resilience was forged.
Trans people often have to pioneer identities, pioneer spaces.
Pioneers like Francis Thomas, William Dorsey Swan, and Jim McHarris. William Dorsey Swan, an enslaved queer person from Maryland, boldly led a resistance group, becoming the first known individual in the United States to self-identify as Queen of Drag. Francis Thompson, hailing from Alabama, fearlessly testified for the United States Congress, advocating against the racial injustice and violence. Then we have Jim McHarris, a black trans man born in Mississippi in 1924. Falsely arrested and forced to undress, despite the injustice he faced, he stood his ground and declared in Ebony magazine in 1954, "I ain't do nothing wrong and I ain't breaking no laws," embodying the spirit of defiance. As we reflect on the courageous acts of our ancestors, we find ourselves in the present, where their legacy continues to shape the experience of Black Southern trans individuals, where they navigate a journey of self-discovery, love, joy, and community.
My name is Jarius Nelson. My pronouns are they and them, and I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, specifically Southside Jackson, Mississippi. Being a black trans Mississippian comes with its own special sets of challenges, of experiences, and connections.
My name is Autumn. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm from Jackson, specifically South Jackson. Very interesting thing, especially here in Mississippi. From a young age, I didn't really fit into either gender specifically, not by the roles that are set for them. So trying to get my footing, and that was really awkward, as it kind of is still.
Name is Washington. My pronouns are they, them. And I'm from Mississippi. For me, it looks like being someone who has to prioritize building like authentic community and building community, like communal spiritual practices that go outside the realities of binaries or indoctrination that really are founded on love, capacity, transparency. Navigating love and romance as a trans person used to be very dramatic because of the lack of public acceptance of queer people. And I used to have to engage with people who had like attraction to me, but did not want to support my liberation as a queer person or my safety.
The religious guilt and stuff around queerness. A lot of people aren't out, or a lot of people aren't publicly out, or a lot of people don't want to engage at all, or don't want to even like explore that parts of themselves because of fear.
I have the pleasure of being connected to a lot of other Black queer trans people in the South, but that is not the reality for all Black trans people here. But I must say that there is nobody else that does it like Black trans people in the South. We have our own special pizzazz that will not be copied or imitated by any other group or anywhere else. Trans joy is that it does not have a definition and that it looks specific to the person embodying it. Black queer and trans joy for me looks like being able to come into a space and be myself authentically and not have to conform to any kind of standards that the space has for me or for other people entering the space.
Community that nurtures my spirit and nurtures my true self and all of my trans and queerness and southernness and blackness.
Dating as a Black queer and trans person in the South has been a very special experience. At times, I feel like there is nobody else who understands my capacity for love and connection because of like my identities and how I connect with other people. But I have found that there are people out here and out in the world who are appreciative and want to connect with Black and trans queer people from the South, specifically from Mississippi.
3 years ago, where I was lucky enough to like stumble upon a person who also was liberating themselves from the binary. Unfortunately, got married and just started to support each other's authentic self.
Us building a framework that doesn't exist, a framework that's not based in any kind of necessarily any commonalities or anything that is assumed. There's just a lot of honest conversations about where we are and what we want out of the relationship, and coming to the agreement that we are willing to make the necessary changes and adjustments for each other. So as far we don't compromise our identities and our politics.
Between sexes. Lawmakers claim this bill would protect women's rights in certain spaces like restrooms, locker rooms, and women's sports. But Mickey Stratos with the Spectrum Center of Hattiesburg says this proposal infringes on the rights of transgender individuals.
I feel like personally I've been fighting against anti-LGBT queer and trans legislation for a long time, so I'm not surprised by current legislation, but I feel sad and I worry about young people a lot. A lot of these bills are geared more towards them, so I worry about young trans folks and if they have the support that they need to survive in a world that hates them.
Unnecessary the bill is because trans people already feel the transphobia and like are not able to really function with our community here. I'm fearful for young trans people and I'm fearful for just trans people in general, but I'm also fearful for everybody else that lives in Mississippi, especially marginalized folks. I don't think that Mississippi plans on stopping their trans people. And that concerns me because I think that people will see this and like really turn away from it and not really recognize that Mississippi, and not even just Mississippi, not the people, but like the government here really wants to rid itself of marginalized folks in some way.
Dear future self, you are a human, you are a being, and you can be all of that, all at once, and exist and have fun and enjoy yourself. That's the most important thing. Enjoy yourself. So yeah.
Dear future Black, queer, trans, fight for your liberation. Fight for authentic relationship. Fight for accountability, but also fight for your peace. Fight for your respite. Fight for a respectable and supportive environment for you and your processes and your contribution. But also rest. Just remember to rest.
Dear future Black, trans, and queer people, you are enough. You don't need to be accepted by your family members to be a valid individual or a person deserving of love and community and care. There are people out here, plenty of people out here. Mississippi is a gem within itself. You don't need to have validation from other people, from other places, to be a valid person from Mississippi or for Mississippi to be a valid place. Yeah, you are valid where you are, how you are, and when you are, period. And not have to be misgendered or characterized by my genitalia or what you assume. I feel like Beyonce on that when she was watching her recorded back and she was like, I showed look I can't cook. That's true. So look at the state of Mississippi. Look at healthcare. Look at everything. Focus on what needs to be focused on. Leave us alone. We are living our lives, and that's what joy looks like.